Hey everybody, welcome back to the Switch 2-week dive where we take a look at the next 2 weeks of games coming out on the Switch. Now listen, if you happen to be on quarantine right now and can't leave the house, guess what? There's about 34 games coming out on the Switch in the next 2 weeks that you could dive into, including Animal Crossing on the 20th. Let's not waste any more time. Let's check out what we're getting in the next 2 weeks on Switch. Alright, so let's start with the 13th of March, which for all of you out there that don't keep a track of dates or don't have a calendar, that's tomorrow, provided this video comes out today, Thursday the 12th. Hopefully it does. First up, we have a game called Rainbows, Toilets, and Unicorns. Oh boy. This game is a bullet hell full of every meme and hilarious thing, hilarious is in big air quotes, that you may have seen in pop culture in recent years. It is actually supposed to be a fairly tough bullet hell, but it's just wrapped in like this cute, sugary, rainbowy, meme layer of stuff. Possibly the bullet hell shooting part of this is actually quite good. I don't know, I haven't played it, but it's gonna run you about $7. Next up after that, we have a game called Alders Blood. Now this is a mix between a little bit of XCOM, a little bit of a lot of Darkest Dungeon. RPG elements. It's a tactical strategy game in which you have to cross all of these areas and roll out the story as you go with your team of people trying to survive in this hateful and toxic world. Really, what you're gonna see here is a game heavily inspired by Darkest Dungeon. The narration, the setting, the colors, even just the style that the game is done in, all is hyper reminiscent, and you would even think done by the same people who did Darkest Dungeon. And so check this out, it's gonna be $15 starting tomorrow. All right, after that, for about $10, there's a game called Rack and Ruin, that's also out on the 13th. It's basically an action RPG mixed with a bullet hell kind of a game where you have over 30 enemies to go through all of these different areas in. You have over 28 spells, items, and abilities to try and defeat all the foes. Yeah, nothing on the page indicates that this is a replayable or a roguelite or a roguelike kind of a game. It just seems like it is in the style of an action RPG like a Binding of Isaac kind of a game, but it's not. You're just gonna go through it the one time. Or maybe you really like the story, maybe you go through it twice. Or maybe you have no life and you play it, for the rest of existence, which may be short depending on how this epidemic goes. After that, we have a game called Round Guard. Now, this looks new to me. I don't think this has been released before on other platforms. This is going to be a dungeon crawler with pinball physics. And so I'm not really certain what kind of game this is going to end up being, but it seems like you just shoot your balls around these dungeons, right, and try to bounce off and kill bosses and take out enemies, and there's loot and there's different classes you can actually play as, and there's different items and things, and the whole thing is procedurally generated so you can play it as many times as you want. It's bizarre, and for $20, it better be damn good for a new title in a new kind of genre. Moving right along, next we have My Hero 1's Justice 2. I don't understand the title, but if you're familiar at all with My Hero Academia, this is a game based on that. The easiest way that I can describe this to you is if you ever played Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm, whatever that was called. It's just a giant 3D arena where you can move around and fight. There are 40 different characters to choose from. And again, this is kind of only going to be for those people who really like the anime My Hero Academia. For everyone else, not really anything here for you unless you really liked 3D fighting games, but also it's $60. All right, this next one has me excited. So this next game is called Cider Reloaded, and it's gonna be $12. It's a side-scrolling shoot-'em-up game, right? But here's the twist on this one. In this game, you don't just go from left to right like a kind of standard game. You can actually flip your ship around and go left, but you can also go up, and you can also go down. And so the 3D environments move along with where you're going in the area, right? But you can move all around. You're not held just to moving left to right, which is really cool. And so this I've never seen before in a shoot 'em up kind of a game like this. And so I'm very excited to actually get my hands on this. You may even be able to play it. Nope, just kidding. Single player. I wish that people would make what's wrong with multiplayer games? Nintendo, why is your website so fucking broken? After that, we have a game called Jump Step Step for $5. Now this is going to be a puzzle game where you control a little robot and you give him commands in order to cross one area to another. So you're going to have to plan his actions out and then log all of those commands. So if you need to move forward 4 steps and then jump over something, you would do forward, 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 jump. This sounds heinously boring, and good luck. If you're into this, congratulations. After that, we have a game called Stella, which is going to run you $20. Now, this is in the category of games that categorize themselves as an atmospheric or cinematic kind of platformer. So we're talking Limbo, we're talking Inside, we're talking Gree. All of those games where combat is most likely a minimum, if anything, and you're just enjoying a story in an amazingly crafted world. Well, amazingly crafted, I don't know that because I haven't played it yet. It may be awful, but it is of that genre of game where you just kind of sit back and enjoy the story, and that's definitely right up my alley, so check that out. All right, right on the heels of Stella is Super Destronaut Land Wars. Now, this is going to run you $5. It is a pseudo kind of retro but also 3D first-person shooter where the enemies are kind of flat 2D sprites, but you're in a 3D world and it is a first-person shooter and your guns are 3D, and you have to make your way through these levels, killing, all the enemies, getting power-ups, changing weapons, stuff like that. It actually has been out for quite a while on Xbox and a couple other platforms, and Nintendo Switch is just getting it now. But, it's cheap and it'll probably keep you busy at least a couple hours, so. All right, next on our list might be a great title when you're stuck indoors under quarantine for the next, 5 millennia. It's called Yoga Master. It's going to run you $20. Basically, if you have no ability to look up things on YouTube, you could buy Yoga Master on the Switch, and it's going to walk you through all the different yoga routines. You're able to change music, look around in 3D poses just to make sure you're doing it right. The entire yoga experience in one fancy package on the Switch. So if I guess if you really, really like yoga, you could buy that. And our last game for the 13th is called Dead or School. Title makes literally no sense. It's going to run you $30. And this just basically asks the question, do you prefer scantily clad women or good gameplay? And in this case, you'll get scantily clad women and not so much a column B. It's not the Aladdin movie song, a little column A, a little bit of column B. You kind of only get one. It's a side-scrolling RPG beat-em-up that just, in my opinion, looks terrible. Now, this is another re-release. It's been on other platforms before, so you can go check out the in-depth look on this game on those other platforms on YouTube. But this is probably going to be a hard pass for pretty much everyone except for degenerates. Which, I'm not saying I'm not, but it's just not for me. Moving on to the 16th of March. First up, we have Super Bit Blaster XL. This is going to run you $4. Now, this is a throwback to 80s arcade games. You have a single screen with a ship. You're going to fly around the area, blowing up all the different little enemies and things, and presumably you'll have different weapons and power-ups that you can use. Nintendo's website today, by the way, if you're wondering, is really eating dirt. I can't load pretty much any of these games, and all the pictures are broken, so thank you, Nintendo, for that. But this game actually, again, if you really like the old arcade games, so if you're probably above 40, this will be right up your alley. Next up, for $13, you can pick up This Strange Realm of Mine. Now, this is a kind of mix between a little bit of a Minecraft-looking world mixed with a Duke Nukem first-person shooter from the 90s, along with some pixel art and pixel graphics mixed with 3D. It's bizarre by all stretches of the imagination, but looking at the reviews, it actually holds very positive reviews on Steam and other platforms, because this has already been released for a while now. Came out in 2017, it looks like, and this is just a port. So actually, this one looks like there's a lot of good stuff here, so you may want to keep an eye out on this on the 16th. Quickly moving into the 17th of March. First up, we have RBI Baseball 20. Now, this is going to run you $30. And it says that it's redefining what it means to be an arcade baseball game. I just hard disagree. Every year, EA puts out, baseball and a soccer and a football game. They're never any different. Never any different. So if you're a huge baseball fan and you don't have a baseball title yet on the Switch, maybe you go for this one. Otherwise, it's probably more of the same. All right, after that, for a very steep $54.99, you can pick up the game Overpass, which seems to be a simulation for people who really like buggies and off-roading. Now, there's nothing on this page that indicates that this is an actual racing game against other people, but it does say at the bottom, multiplayer up to 8 players. Unfortunately, all the videos and things that I can find show just one guy driving over some, like, rocks and stumps that are oddly placed. And the description is just about you tackling all that the environment can throw at you. So whether or not this is actually a fun multiplayer game or not, I do not know. But the price already has turned me off. This next game is more up my alley. It's called Night Swap. It's gonna run you 50 cents. 50 cents, half of a dollar. Okay? Now this is a minimalistic puzzle game designed around the knight puzzle piece in chess. So it means you can move forward 3 spaces and over 1 to the left or right, or you can move right or left 1, and you know, it's how chess works, if you know what the knight piece, how that works. The idea of the game is just to swap the positions or get your pieces into their respective end-game goal zones. So this is gonna be for people who either like puzzle games or chess, or maybe a bit of both, or if you're sadistic and you don't like either of these things, I mean, it's only 50 cents, so you really don't have that much to lose. After that, on the 17th, you can play as the pixel version of Indiana Jones, except in this case, his name is very similar. It's Lemays Kasugi. You know, you can see the similarity there. It's 15 bucks. This game has been out for a while, but if you don't know what it is, it's a pixel puzzle platformer where you explore all these different tombs and dungeons and things and try to find the treasures in each one. There's going to be boss fights, there's going to be enemies and all sorts of things. You get items and equipment, and apparently fucking ninja stars, because that's what I saw in the screenshots. I don't know why Indiana Jones is using ninja stars now, but that's great. I'm for it. You know, it's 2020. It's a brand new frontier. All right, this is going to totally sound like I'm making this up. I am not. Also, on the same day, you can play La Mulana 2 for $24.99 if you didn't want to play the first one, where, and I'm not making this up, Lemays Kasugi has gone missing, and only his daughter, Lumisa, can find him. Enter Eglana, the name of the dungeon, an upside-down version of the legendary ruins of La Mulana. Oh, I can't make this stuff up. This is wonderful. Moving right into the 18th of March, we have a game called Explosive Jake's. It's gonna run you $4.50, which is a puzzle Bomberman game is the best way I can describe it. It's an arcade-like experience of 40 levels where you just blow shit up and move to the next level. Very simple concept, simple design. You know, if you really like Bomberman and just like blowing stuff up, I'd say this is probably right up your alley. I don't know what else to say about this one. Real simple. Moving into the 19th, we have a visual novel called Seabed. It's gonna run you $20. There is a warning of sexual content and alcohol, maybe suggestive themes, partial nudity, but this is a critically acclaimed Yuri-themed mystery visual novel told through the perspectives of 3 separate characters. If you're into visual novels, maybe you already know about this. I don't know anything about them. It's not typically my jam, but there you go. After that, we have a game called Autopia for $20. Now, this is an insane side-scrolling shoot-'em-up that you're familiar with, just like all the other games, you know, that have done this over the million years that games have been out. Except this one has an interesting little tidbit at the bottom. Dynamic challenge automatically adjusts between 1,000 difficulty ranks to suit the player's skill. Now, that's probably just like a, you know, marketing talk for, hey, we kind of, you know, we'll add like another enemy or something. But the gameplay does look insane. You can check it out. It's already been out on Steam since January this year and has positive reviews, so I'm looking forward to it. All right, next up we have a game called Factotum 90. This is gonna run you $8. Now this is a game about you having issues on a spaceship. You get kind of stranded and stuck, and you have to control 2 little robots in order to either restore power or get you out of a tough situation. This is a puzzle game. You're gonna have to puzzle your way through apparently 30 different levels, and it looks unique enough that probably is a very interesting take. It kind of looks like a throwback to like PS1 era graphics, but it's a 3D puzzler. So this is actually an interesting. I thought it was Factotum, and I was immediately gonna be like, we don't need another Factotum. Factotum is bad. But no, it's Factotum 90. Moving into the 20th, our first up is called a game, is a game called Myst Hunters. That's a tough sentence. This is gonna run you about $6, which is a great price for what you're getting here. This is a fast roguelike arena shooter. Every wave you're going to get trophies, which are basically like perks or skills, passive abilities that change the way it plays. There's tons of unique items and weapons in order to play. Apparently there's 100 different trophies or those perks I was talking about. There's 7 different arenas. It's just insanity, and the idea here is that you have 90 seconds before you die in each of these rounds, but obviously you can pick up things that will extend that time. But the idea is you're fighting both time and the enemies and your health. And so after your time runs out, your health will start ticking down automatically. But if you're not killing the waves of enemies, you're also just gonna die. So it's a cool balance between that. And so for $6, it has good reviews. Okay, after that, we have Doom 64. Now, you may be wondering what the 64 is about if you're under the age of maybe 20. That's the Nintendo 64 designation of games that came out on the Nintendo 64 in the, early 2000s. So they're just re-releasing Doom 64 onto the Switch for some reason. It'll run you $5. Maybe if you're a speedrunner and you run Doom, you might want to play it on the Switch instead for some reason. But for everyone else, probably going to pass on this and buy the actual new Doom when it comes out on the 20th. I'm just going to make this one quick because everyone already knows about it. Animal Crossing New Horizons is out on the 20th as well. It's going to run you $60. It's Animal Crossing. This is not new. We all know what Animal Crossing is, so let's continue. You're going to buy it anyway, so just, let's move on. After that, we have an amazing game called Pooplers for $9, where you play as a baby trying to crap all over the floor in a multiplayer 4v4 game. Let's just continue. After that, we have a puzzle game called Memento. Now, this is going to run you $8. This came out way back in 2015 on a couple different platforms, including Steam. And right now, the most interesting thing is that it holds a 96 or 97% on Steam in positive reviews. It's just described as a really quiet and calm, almost zen-like puzzle game. I don't understand the mechanics behind this game. I've watched the videos, I've taken a look at all the literature. It seems like the different puzzles are going to have different mechanics entirely, but it could be something interesting for those people who really like puzzle games. I mean, the reviews are stellar. They're really stellar, so if you enjoy puzzle games, there you go, on the 20th, but you're probably going to be playing Animal Crossing. Moving into the 23rd, we have a game called Bug Academy for $13. This game is great. This is also a game that's been out for a hot minute already. And basically, you control a little fly of some kind, and you have to fly around the stage, get another flies to come with you, to then pick up other objects to solve puzzles or stack them somewhere. In one stage, you're kind of in outer space, and you're an appliance delivery bug, and so you have to deliver refrigerators or dryers into people's space homes and make sure they get their delivery on time. You just crash through the side of their house or whatever. This game is insanity. It's a ton of fun. I would highly recommend you check this out. Moving into the 24th, because we're moving right along now. A game called Hyperspace Delivery Service is gonna run you about $8. Sorry, gonna run you about $10. I had not remembered that. That's my mistake. Basically, this is an odd retro pixel game in which you take a crew of people and you load up your ship with deliveries, you manage your supplies, there's going to be oxygen and power and all these different stats, and you have to chart your route to be able to make money, deliver the goods on time. You're also going to have to battle and do all these different mini games. I saw one where you have to shoot asteroids as you're flying through a field. There's probably going to be battles with actual other pirates and things. This game looks great, and it's definitely one of those games where it's just basically a clicker game, right? You're just trying to make your money go up by planning the proper routes and things. I mean, I guess it's an advanced click. You know what? This metaphor's falling apart. Let's just keep going. It's a good game. Check it out. Moving into the 26th, we have a game called Dream Gallery for $6. Now, Dream Gallery is a puzzle game, but I don't mean it's a puzzle game and you try to solve quizzical puzzles. I mean, it is literally a puzzle game. You put together jigsaw puzzles of the Chinese aesthetic. And that's it. They're just jigsaw. They're just pictures. You put. It's a puzzle. Like your grandfather does. Puzzles. Okay, and last up we have another bundle. This is again from Digerati. I don't know who this Digerati publisher is. I've never heard of them before. But this is called Indie Darling Bundle Volume 2. I don't know what happened to Volume 1 or 3 or 4, but we got 2. It's gonna run you $34.99. It includes Bleed 2. Slayaway Camp Butcher's Cut, and The Aquatic Adventure of the Last Human. Now, these are all bizarre games that I've never heard of before. I really don't know anything about them, but if you follow Digerati, I guess these bundles have come out long ago on other platforms, so you can check out all the reviews and things on those on your own time. You don't have time to go to all of these games. Anyway, so that's it. That's going to be your Switch 2-week wrap-up. That's all the way from tomorrow until the 26th of March. Again, really, I should have just made this video, hey, Animal Crossing comes out on the 20th, so just forget all the rest of the shit that they're putting out on the console, because you're not going to play it anyway, except for maybe a couple of those neat indie games. Otherwise, hopefully this is still useful to you. Hopefully you enjoy these kinds of videos. As always, let me know what you think in the comments. Subscribe if you enjoy it, and I'll keep making it. I seriously will keep making these even if you don't, so whatever. Support me on Patreon if you want to join the Discord, get involved, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. And until next time, burn bright, everybody.